Hi friends, for those who don't remember, my name is Miss Jordan and I'm the Youth Education Coordinator at MOA. Thank you so much for joining us in the second video of today's Mini Masters program. Hopefully you guys already watched the first video in which we had our discussion about Wilhelm Knapp's untitled City Scene with Tracks and our story time with Pete the Cat. So for today's art project, we are going to be making trains made out of shapes. I thought that'd be really fun since we talked about in the painting all the shapes we saw in that landscape. So, first things first is on the website, wisconsinart.org, where you found these videos, there's also a downloadable PDF. In that PDF, we have a supply list. It will look something like this. Okay, friends, so here is our supply list for week 2. First thing is we need paper. Just normal 8.5 by 11 paper will work just fine, especially since I am asking that you guys print off the next page. If we scroll on, we will see that we have a printable with a bunch of shapes on it. And that is what I'm asking that you print off to do this project. If for some reason you don't have a printer or you don't have access to one, that's totally fine. Just cut your own shapes in relatively the same size as what you see online. Then also we will need scissors. You will need some sort of glue, tape, or adhesive. I personally used tape this time because I liked that it gave me room to move things around if they weren't how I liked them to look. Then also any kind of coloring supplies, markers, crayons, pencils, paint. I personally used markers with this activity. So we are going to, so now we are going to start making our train. So first of all, I printed off the printable online. I know sometimes our printer likes to reformat things, so it is okay if yours got reformatted and looks something like this. Either one works just fine. You will also want one other piece of plain paper that you can glue or tape your shapes onto as the back of your image. Go ahead and color these however you would want. I would encourage you to leave one of these small squares empty though. You'll see when we go through step by step what that image will be used for, and I think you'll be kind of bummed out if you went ahead and colored it not knowing. Again, if you want to color all these shapes, cut them out, and then not watch the video, that's totally fine too. You can create your own masterpiece. But if you want to see how these shapes turn into a train, you can follow along step by step. So I went ahead and colored these and cut so you don't have to worry about staying in the lines. And now I'm going to walk through step by step. Okay, so as you can see, I had fun coloring all of my shapes, and I remembered to leave one of those small squares empty. Now let's talk about some of these shapes that we see. We see 2 different triangles, we see 3 circles, we see 2 squares, and we see 3 different rectangles. So at the end of this, we are going to create one train using these shapes. So first of all, after I finished coloring them out and cutting them out, the first thing I did was I arranged these 2 together. This is going to be the body of your train. Then I went ahead and took that smaller rectangle and I glued it at the top of my smaller rectangle. Again, this will be kind of the top roof of your train car. Next, I glued the small square on top of the rectangle as kind of our steam engine part of the train. And that blank square is a window, which is why I thought it'd be fun to leave that blank, because when I'm done, I can go ahead and color and put whoever I want driving that train. Next step was to add a triangle on top of my steam engine, and then put the front part of the train on as well. The next thing is I have these 3 triangles, and hopefully you recognize that those will be the wheels. So next I simply start putting those down. So first, put on one, then the second, and then the third. So now I have my finished train, okay? Okay, so now I have my finished train, and like I said, it is taped onto this backboard. So now is really the fun part, that you can decorate the setting you want your train in. Just like the painting we saw today, we saw a landscape. So now you can put a landscape around your train. Also, you can go back in and add somebody in your train car driving. Maybe that conductor is yourself. Maybe it's an animal. You can have as much fun creating who you want in that spot. Again, figure out what you want behind it. Maybe make sure it's got some tracks. Maybe put some clouds. You guys can pick your destination. And it might be kind of fun right now, especially since most of us are stuck inside. You could dream up of a fun place that you would like to travel to. When you guys are done, please send me photos. I would love to see what you come up with. I know at Mini Masters you are all so creative. You guys are always surprising me with what you come up with. So on that downloadable PDF is my email address. Feel free to email me finished products, questions, concerns, whatever. I would love to hear from you. Also, during this time, please remember that MOA does have other fun activities at wisconsinart.org, so make sure you check those out as well. Thank you so much for joining us in the second virtual Mini Masters at MOA. I hope you join us again next week. In the meantime, happy creating. Thank you.